That document will be live in 10.
Cool.
Hey everyone, welcome to our third virtual Caffeine and Gasoline. We've got a great show for you today. We are joined by a very special guest who you may know from Motor Trend and Overhauling. But without further ado, my name is Nick.
I'm Richard.
I'm Stevie.
And I am that special guest, Chris Jacobs. Hi, guys. Pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, we are really excited to have Chris with us. Chris has recently joined the Griot's Garage family as a brand ambassador, and while we're hoping to do a little bit more with him in person, obviously everybody is aware of what's going on in the world right now. So first and foremost, thank you for joining us. We hope that you and your families are happy and healthy and staying as safe as possible. We really want to get back to normal and start having real car shows, but in the interim, you guys have provided us with so much material, submissions. We've got a great show. We had over 500 submissions come in for this virtual Caffeine and Gasoline, so much so that we're going to have to do this again, and we're excited to do so. So if you haven't participated to this point and you're just watching for the first time, we've got a couple cues that we're going to revert back to later in the show to get you the ability to submit and participate. Some of the participants didn't follow all of our rules, and so unfortunately you don't get to get included, but we had so many that we're gonna do some slideshows and talk about some very special stories throughout the show. So without further ado, let's start off with some stories that were submitted by our employees, and then like I said, later in the show, we'll tell you about a couple upcoming events, including our 30th anniversary celebration. So our first story comes from one of our employees, our East Coast sales manager, Rod Kraft. And Rod is a Mopar guy, so obviously he's going to resonate quite strongly with Chris. And we knew you'd like this one, Chris.
Absolutely. I mean, look at that thing. And the story behind this car is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, so Rod grew up with his dad and older brothers who were always working on cars, mostly Mopars. And he pretty much knew it was a matter of time before he got bit by the bug. And he saw this car in high school. It was a 69 Super Bee with a 383, 335 horsepower, power bulge hood, automatic, and it was repainted dark blue. He drove it through high school, did a few mods, and saved up some money and had it painted black. 2 weeks after he painted it, got in an accident, and as the years went by, he ended up meeting his now current wife, and when it came time to propose, he had to sell the car to buy his engagement ring, which is just an awesome, I mean,
Haven't we all been there?
After 12 years of marriage, his wife felt guilty about him selling the car for her, so she wanted to surprise him. And she was looking for another Super Bee, and she found a total of 5, but one in particular stood out among all the others. And after checking the VIN and looking at all the pictures, she found that it was actually Rod's Super Bee that he had sold to buy her the engagement ring. So he found it, and it was a family in Minnesota, and Rod lives in Baltimore. So she found it, all the way across the country, and a farm was struggling, and they had to sell it after a bad harvest. So he clearly got it back and started a major project where he made it how it looks today. Red, that big blower, big wheels.
Not just any red, it's like Griot's Garage red.
Yeah, I think
That's right.
he must have had that in mind. Rod's been with us a few years now, and he's got a great garage. His sons come and work the shows with us, and they've met you, Chris, as well.
Yeah, very cool. I've met a lot of great Mopar guys. I believe I met these guys at Barrett Jackson, and this story is just absolutely fantastic. I love the fact that it came back around to him and returned to the family. It's really one of those meant to be's.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, they happen a lot in cars, but even so, each time it's that much more special. All right, and then the next submission is another one that I think Richard's going to have to weigh in on because it is just a series of photos that is absolutely hilarious. It comes from one of our longest tenured employees, and that's Jason Matthews, and it features one of our other employees, his son Connor.
So there's Connor and a really old catalog. Of course, I'm shoved in that other Bel Air. It looks like I'm like 40 years old then.
Yeah, and Connor is 5 at the time.
Connor's 5.
And
But I mean, I found Jason, wrapped in swaddling clothes, left on our back doorstep. And I don't know, he was like 3 years old. And I weaned him back, back to health. And he ended up working for us. And what a super, super awesome person we have.
Yeah, so Jason was recently married and had twin boys, Lincoln and Max, but he got to keep the car from that photo shoot, and he's had it all these years, and now he's got, almost nearly 2-year-old boys, and obviously they're twins, and I think it's a hilarious photo of them pushing the cart around, and then obviously with their older brother, Connor, and he's using, of course, Griot's Garage Speed Shine to keep it clean, so. Great story. Love to see that come around. But Jason's been with us, I think, 24 years, 23 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
The majority of my life.
Yeah, right.
And that just proves there is no vehicle too small to use Griot's products on. I mean, that's right there. That's perfect.
Yeah. And I think there's no vehicle too small for me to get my little rear end in either. Well, maybe 40 years ago, but certainly not now.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got a string of honorable mentions that we wanted to put up. So if you submitted your car and you see it here, we thought it was good enough to show on the show, but we have some winners in some other categories. So we're going to take a little ride through some of the submissions that you guys sent us right now.
I don't think they're looking at me, yeah.
Just a pretty Buick.
Beautiful Riv.
Man, you got to love those ribs.
That's like a
of all the cars that we did on Overhauling, we never got to a Riviera, and that's something that Chip and I always talked about wanting to do. I mean, just such classic lines. I love Rivieras. Every year is very distinct, too. Each one, the style changed just slightly, but they're all incredibly beautiful designs.
Yeah, I like the curved window, but we're going to be talking about this all day. We've got about
hundreds
200
of
of these
cars.
The old goat.
Drop top GTO. We almost did one of those when we were as a teenager.
Yeah. I don't think there's a car we haven't looked at or done or tried to do.
This was a pretty clean S15, and we
Very
really
nice.
liked it. He had some nice photos.
Love the engine compartment on it.
The stance of that one was great, too.
M2 competition. This gentleman picked it up in Europe, so it's a pretty cool story, and he's driving the hell out of it, just like it's meant to be.
I think I see a bug on that car. Did you see that?
So these are an unloved BMW, these 318Ts, but this guy definitely loved his.
Looks like he was racing in some sort of competition with some other T's. That's cool.
Look at this old chef.
Beautiful 63 Bel Air. This gentleman
Look
had
at the
done
smile on
a
his
lot of
face.
work as well.
Yeah. That's what cars do to people. Love the car.
55. Love that. That's my favorite year of the Tri-5s right there.
Perfect color combination as well, of course.
Yeah.
Ah, now we're getting to stuff that I really love besides the Mopars. I love my air-cooled Porsches.
Oh, well, you're good friends with Richard already. This gentleman said he met you down at Works Reunion, Dad.
Yeah. No, I remember the 912. It's awesome.
And this guy has the same kind of problems we all do. He likes American stuff and German stuff.
Do we
Love
honestly
it.
have
wow, look
problems?
at how clean that flat six was. Wow, very nice.
Oh, yes, the Australian Ute.
So this guy has two of these. This is a Holden Maloo, which is essentially, if they had brought this to the States, it would have been the El Camino.
Yeah.
It's the same platform as the G8, and he imported two of them. So
there's like major tax breaks for this, right? But they shove this huge engine in there. Oh, look at that.
The ACR. Is that an ACR? Can't see the
if
fender
it's not,
badge
he's
quite well
built
enough.
it up to make it look like it. It's pretty bad.
Got it.
442s.
There we go. Got a G body down there.
I really like the G bodies.
Me too. I finally realized my high school dream of owning a Grand National. I had it for about 2 years, and then I sold it to its next lucky owner. But I love the G bodies too.
Richard has been sending me quite a few eBay ads on 86, 87 Monte Carlos. He's trying to trick
Nice.
me into
Glass, son. Just think of the glass, the amount of glass.
If it has T-tops, I'm okay with it. I'll take it. we'll go from there.
All right, what else we got? Oh, look at that. Is that, what orange is that?
I do not know. I like it, though.
Yeah.
There we go.
Cutlass Supreme.
Those Kragers look great on that car. Love that.
So I used to take out the trash for somebody that owned a Cutlass. And I think her dad owned the Oldsmobile dealership and always just like drooled on that car. I don't know why I was like 8 years old, but it started early.
This guy had a cool story of restoring that taxi.
Well, that would come in handy these days.
We had a lot of clean Corvettes come in, too.
C7, the last of the front engines.
Beautiful. Looks like a atomic gray or something.
I like that accent on the fender, too. That's a beautiful job.
All right, so thank you for your submissions. If you saw your car, we love that. We've got a few more honorable mention sections up ahead, but for now, we're going to jump into our first category, and all of these nominees will get a Caffeine and Gasoline t-shirt. So if you see your car and your name, be sure to email us back at social@griotsgarage.com. We're going to send you a Caffeine and Gasoline shirt that was featured on the last one.
That's it? Just a T-shirt? I thought Chris was going to go to their house personally and say hi.
I don't know if it's a good time to be signing him up for in-home visits, but
Yeah, well, and, you know, we'll move it to sometime down the future. Just please make sure it's in a tropical location.
all right. So this category is the best non-car, and we had a couple other categories that we're going to go through, but I mean, you can use our products on anything with paint, so we want to hear how you're using them, and we had some cool submissions. So without further ado,
our first runner-up is Arlen Wang with his 2005 Ducati 749 Dark. Arlen clearly loves this motorcycle as he daily drives this Ducati on his 60-mile commute in the Bay Area. His favorite feature is the open clutch that exposes all the intricate pieces and, of course, creates a cool sound that only a dry clutch can make and is uniquely Ducati. He also takes it on long road trips, which people think is crazy, but he enjoys the bike that much and has done many trips in California and Nevada, including the 140 miles of twisties in Eureka, California. His dad taught him how to ride a motorcycle when he was 15, and he has had his motorcycle permit since he has been able to drive. He drove a Ninja 500R for his last 2 years of high school, and he clearly loves motorcycles and had some great photos to look through. He's looking forward to applying some glass sealant and a new coat of protectant soon.
You know, nothing sounds like a Ducati. And I think we misspelled his last name on the screen.
sorry, we had a lot
Or
of
mispronounced it, one of the two.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, he sent some photos, and there's this one photo of a sign, and it literally is, you know, the twisty road, and it says, for the next 140 miles. So I mean, I've never ridden a motorcycle. I just know that I'd pretty much guarantee to kill myself. So for those of you that can control your impulses and ride a motorcycle, good on you.
Great picture in front of the Golden Gate Bridge there, too. That is beautiful. I've been in that exact spot, and that is absolutely picturesque. Nicely done.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out where that was. It's absolutely beautiful.
It's just on the San Francisco side of the Golden Gate Bridge there. Right at the end of that big park that's there in San Francisco.
Excellent.
Awesome. So our next runner-up is Michael Friend with a 1946 Aeronca L16A. The Compass Rose is a 1946 Aeronca L16A based at Bremerton National Airport. It was accepted by the U.S. Army Air Corps in late 1946 as a forward observation plane, known in World War II as Grasshoppers, just before the service was renamed as the Air Force. It was purchased by a private individual and restored 25 years ago and given a civilian paint job, which had by 2019 faded somewhat. 10 hours of labor with a Griot's G9 6-inch random orbital polisher and best of show correcting and then perfecting cream brought back the original luster. A final polish with Griot's spray-on wax gave it a slick glossy finish. After each flight, Griot's speed shine is used to wipe away the bug strikes on the wing leading edges. The airplane appears at air shows around the Northwest and always gets compliments on its appearance. Thanks to Griot's.
So I didn't know our polishes worked on painted on fabric, which, that's like a new high,
Yeah. I mean, he was telling the back end of this story was he was essentially saying the person who strapped himself in World War II to go fly into artillery fire in essentially a tube frame and fabric plane was a crazy person, which I'd have to agree with.
Yeah, but the bullets went right through the fabric.
Much more dangerous than riding a motorcycle, wouldn't you say?
I think so. It's pretty cool. Michael comes through the store. He's a local guy, and we love seeing cleaning up your airplane. That's a lot of surface area. So to polish it, he said 10 hours.
That seems like really fast for that, right? Anyway, yeah, 10 hours, that's nothing.
It
What
looks
a beautiful
great,
airplane.
Michael.
Great paint job on there.
Yeah. All righty.
All right, and then our winner is this next automobile that is extremely unique and froze all of us when we saw the picture.
This was submitted by Russ Moen. It is a 1954 cab-over tourliner. It has a 12V, 5.9 Cummins. It's an auto. He got to sleep in it when he was driving long distances to car shows. He loves to watch people's reaction at shows. He's working on a 66 C10 as well, and he likes our premium Carnauba paste wax.
It's just such a cool vehicle. I know my friend Max Grundy would go nuts for these. He loves cab overs. He's a very talented artist and draws a lot of cab overs. My favorite feature on this truck is that massive exhaust sticking out of the side there, just in front of the rear wheel. I love that.
I kind of like the fog lights and the bumperettes. I don't know why.
I feel like if I showed this to my 1-year-old, he'd think it was a snail. It's like a crazy look. Just, I love the colorways too. It's just such a perfect tonal match.
Yeah, but it's kind of like a cross between the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile and like a regular truck, right?
And it's a camper. Probably needs some more windows. That was my only knock on it.
I wonder if there's some sort of steps unit that comes out of there, because it looks like it's a lot of work getting into that side door if you don't have something to climb up on.
Yeah, just a super unique vehicle. It's not a car. We just thought it was exceptional. So
I think what you do, Chris, is you put take your shoes off, put your bare feet right on that exhaust pipe and hop right in.
Step on the exhaust pipe, yeah. That'll get you launched up into that tourliner real quick.
Yeah. Well, Ross, so you're our first category winner. And you just have to email us back at social@griotsgarage.com. You're going to get a Concours lawn kit to shine that thing up the next time you go to a car show. So really, really appreciate that submission and everybody who submitted their non-cars. Again, we're willing to see whatever the heck you put our products on, we'll consider that. So we should probably talk about how to submit for our next show. So our next show is 2 weeks from now on Memorial Day weekend, May 23rd. And if you'd like to participate, you can submit using the hashtag virtualCNG on either Instagram or Facebook, or email us directly at social@griotsgarage.com so that we can gather your photographs, assemble all the information, and retell your story to our audience. So the more information you give us, the better. Once again, don't do anything illegal to get good photos. You don't have to be a professional, but you do have to show us the entire car. So, just a front fender or a wheel isn't going to do the trick. You got to really tell your story to us. So we're looking forward to seeing more submissions. Again, we had over 500 for this show. Guys made it really tough on us to whittle it down, but we did it. So thank you for participating. Again, all the runners-up in all these categories are going to get a Caffeine and Gasoline shirt, and then the winners are going to get Concours lawn kits and anything else depending on what Richard promises. So
Yeah, well, now I think it should be Chris and I go to the guy's house because I really want to drive some of these cars.
make sure you have bourbon or margaritas. Heard Chris likes margaritas.
Only makes driving funner.
Yeah.
That's right. Sitting in the back of that tourliner, that would definitely be perfect, We'll let that guy drive, and we'll sit in the back and have some cocktails.
And try not to burn our feet as we hop out of there.
Exactly.
All right, so let's take a look at our next round of honorable mentions. We've got, again, just a slew of great submissions. If you took a great photo, if your car was unique, he had a lot of them. I just love this old gas station setting, just a clean, period correct.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
C4s. Yesterday, a 320-mile ZR1 sold on Bring a Trailer.
Wow.
I didn't remember what the final price was, but man, that thing was, it was
Yeah,
perfect.
that's sweet.
Time capsule. Why didn't you drive your ZR1? Only 320 miles.
Well, maybe you drove it backwards.
The old Ferris Bueller attempt at taking the miles off.
Oh, wow.
Love that clean RX-7.
So that's the Pontiac version of the Nova, right? You don't see those
That's
too
right.
often.
Yep. That's a pretty unusual car right there. Oh, there's another vintage shot for you, Nick. That's beautiful too.
This comes from Eddie's Rod and Customs, one of our builder friends. They're from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. This is a low standard, and it actually it won its class at Battle of the Builders 2 years ago. It was the best truck at SEMA.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. It is stunning.
What a cool steering wheel without the top section on there. It makes it very like an airplane. Joystick. That's really cool.
There's a great story. So Eddie's dad was a diesel Nissan mechanic, so they put a Nissan diesel in the truck, but the airfield in their small town was a standard oil, and so that trailer is actually a horse-driven oil tank that they flipped upside down and use it for storage. And thankfully, they store Griot's Garage products in that. Keep that enormous trailer clean.
All right, what else we got?
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Volvo Suga. This is another one from Eddie's Rod and Custom. It's a Swedish military vehicle, and obviously that thing looks like it could run over whatever the heck it wants.
Yeah, that is Mad Max worthy right there.
I wonder if it's been moose tested. You know, they have to have the moose crash test where they.
That front bumper looks like it could certainly handle multiple moose.
So what's a flock of mooses?
Yeah, I was just thinking, right? We got to look that one up.
A herd of
Someone
moose.
please put it in the comments what a cluster of moose would be called.
They're definitely not Mises. I think it's just moose.
Mooses?
The plural is moose, yes, but like a flock of seagulls or a pod of dolphins.
Yeah.
What would a gathering of moose be called?
But we digress.
We're
Sorry,
off
guys.
deep in the weeds now.
We're way off the tracks.
All right,
That's what happens here.
let's get some cars. This is one of our friends from Nashville area, Ben Smithenson. He brought these cars to our booth in Nashville at the Good Guys show a few years ago. Just awesome builds.
Love the stance of the green one. Yes.
Beautiful Chevelle. 66?
67.
67, nice.
Yeah,
Super
this-
sport.
Built by young bloods in North Carolina, some of our friends out there. Now, this couple had serious issues. We read their story, and they just had a thing for finding junkers that they turned into absolutely ridiculous gassers, as you can see.
I love Gas Hopper.
I love seeing the before picture of that one, too.
That's cool.
5-0.
Yeah.
Nice flame job there.
It's hard to do flames right.
The 944. Beautiful.
These things are coming around. People are starting to dig them.
They really are. That looks completely stock appearing, too. I've always loved those 944 wheels. Kind of an offshoot of the Fuchs, maybe.
I think they call them cookie cutters. Anyway.
This is another great story. This is a lady in the Seattle area who had dreamed of owning a Lamborghini. She worked her tail off, and clearly she got what she wanted. So
And it looks
awesome.
like she probably got it from our good friends up at Cat's Exotics.
That's true.
Yeah.
Very cool.
They're great
That
folks up
Viper
there.
green is so nice.
6'4".
Did not skimp on the wheels on that one.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, we can't even see the car. There's so many Griot's Garage products in front.
That's what we like right
I
there.
know, he's pretty proud of his arsenal. Well, thank you for your business.
Look at that. That's cool.
This guy had some pretty hilarious one-liners. It's the Corvette in a tuxedo, I think was the best one we read.
That's what car shows are all about. You got a more modern Caddy parked right next to it. Looked like about a 67 Firebird or a Camaro there. That was really cool.
Yeah.
The overarching theme with all of this is that our customers love taking care of their stuff, and they're extremely proud of it.
Christine.
61 Imperial.
There's another one after my Mopar heart.
How many cars are you going to buy today, Chris?
Oh, we'll see where the budget takes me. It's definitely, it's possible I could get to double digits.
I know we're not paying you much, so,
I've got plenty in the kitty, and I can just do it on layaway.
Yeah, well, again, you're talking to like the chief car buyer on impulse right over
I bought
here.
3 cars last week.
Chris and I were chatting yesterday about some of your recent endeavors, and we both had good laughs about them. So.
Yeah. Let's talk about
Mopars, of course,
Yeah.
but a little different in the performance spectrum.
All righty. I think we're
All right, our next category. So again, thank you for all your submissions. That was our second grouping of honorable mentions. Again, just a great, diverse selection of cars. We really, really appreciate the pride you all take in your vehicles and including us as part of that. So we wanted to be sure to find some way to show more photos than we were able to last time. And obviously, again, we have hundreds more that we couldn't show in a reasonable period of time, unless you guys want to hang out with us all day, in which case, let us know in the comments. One other thing, be sure to follow Chris on Instagram, follow us on Instagram at Griot's Garage. You're at ChrisJacobs70, and then if you love what you're seeing, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell for notifications. We do these live events quite often. In fact, we're doing another one next Thursday. Where we focus on more detailing related topics. So if you want to get into the weeds of detailing, not this time. Sam, Stevie, and I can talk your ear off about that next Thursday. But let's get to best photo. We had some awesome photos submitted. All right.
Yes, our first runner-up is Bill Smith. He submitted his 1955 Oldsmobile 88 Holiday two-door hardtop. Says the car was his grandpa's car, which he purchased new in 1955, and then he inherited it from his grandma in 1989.
I absolutely love this. And I love the name of the car, called the Holiday. I want to get in a car where every day is a holiday.
What a great trio of picks, too. Beautiful backgrounds, all of those. And Nick, it seems to be like a vintage gas station theme is developing on this Caffeine and Gasoline. There's another really cool vintage gas station there in the background.
I know, I've been trying to, trying to stay neutral with my young child's development, but we always find a way to bring it back to cars. And we watched that Cars movie, and when we all saw those images, all we could think of was, Radiator Springs and the Cars movie, because that's what it looked like. But it's just like the most classic places on Route 66, and he's obviously driving his car. So
Yeah.
Really, really liked it. Beautiful color combination.
Oh, wow.
Our next runner-up is Denny Jorgensen with his 1970 Dodge Challenger 440 RT SE. Denny was the service manager at the local Dodge dealer when he received some literature regarding a new Challenger being introduced for model year 1970. He and his wife decided to order one at that time. A coin flip decided the engine, which ended up being the 440. The day it arrived at the dealership, he caught the transport driver and told him it was his car and that he would like to back it off. It was the first Challenger in town, and we still have it 50 years last November. It is still running all original equipment with one engine freshened. He and his wife have owned it for 50 years last November. He used Polywax on it for years. Now looking forward to trying the ceramic 3-in-1 on it. He loves the thumbs up he gets, and we're proud to give you a few more thumbs up, he says.
I wonder what the other side of the coin would have been. Would it have been a Hemi or a 383? It's pretty cool, though, that it landed on the 440 side.
It was a Hemi, so I kind of thought that was an interesting part of that story. But Richard was saying, he had the same manual back in the day.
Yeah, so my parents used to ship me off every summer to my grandfather's farm and my uncle. And I would beg them to go to the car dealership so I could get all the brochures. And one of the brochures that I got was this car, and I would like pore over it all night long because, talking to your grandparents, as blessed as they are, they don't know too much about cars. So.
Well, it was a brand new model for the 1970 year. The E-body certainly must have been very, very exciting for any car fan, much less a Mopar fan. So this guy really did it right. He got the special edition. He got that beautiful high impact purple. Even got the luggage rack option on the deck lid there. Very well done.
Yeah, he didn't skimp on much. But
Plus,
50 years. I mean, owning a car for 50 years. I'm 33, I guess. But
I'm not sure how good your eyesight is. It's probably pretty bad, but that plane said Sentimental Journey on it. And I think the 50 years, that is a great sentimental journey to keep this car for 50 years. So
yeah, absolutely.
Anyway,
well, if that's the runner-up picture, the winning picture must be absolutely amazing because that is a very cool picture. I love the plane. Of course, I love the car.
Oh, we got more where that's come from, but thank you very much for that submission. Just an awesome story and an awesome car.
yes.
Our next was submitted by Kevin Harman. It is a 1971 Oldsmobile 442. He says his father purchased the 442 in September of 1971. It was our grocery getter, going to church on Sunday, and the family car for many years. Lots of childhood memories for my sister and I in that car. It has been fully restored back to factory specs with only 56,000 original miles. The 442 features a Rocket 455 V8, a TH400 tranny, FE2 heavy-duty suspension, power front disc brakes, and then forced air induction, W24 forced air induction.
So 442, just a little lesson here for my son. That means it's a 4-barrel, 4-speed, and dual exhaust.
Yeah.
Great job.
And that
guys.
actually, Richard, that formula actually changed over the years because they did start to offer the 442 with an automatic transmission. So they used to kind of try to be creative with what the 442s stood for in those later cars. But you're absolutely right. When it originally came out, 4-barrel, 4-speed, dual exhaust.
I may be the worst person to talk to about this, but I just like the idea of an intergenerational car. If you keep your dad's car and you restore it back, 56,000 miles over, again, 50 years. You babied that car, yet you still took it to church. That's a pretty badass story.
Yeah.
And he had some great photos. We had too many to throw up there, so we assembled that little spread. But yeah, great photos, great story.
And Nick, I think that's easy for you to say. You think it's cool when a son gets his cars from his dad. With your dad's collection, I think that's,
I'm greasing the skids here, Chris. Come on.
You got to take yourself out of the equation.
They own everything I have anyway.
Our next runner-up is Tim Alfaro with his E39 BMW M5 converted touring. Tim is a local in Washington and has been into cars as long as he can remember. He admits his earliest cars bore resemblance to those in the Fast and Furious movies. His dream car was always the E39 M5. He bought his first M5 in 2010, but as his family grew, he needed to find... He needed to find a way to accommodate them while still having an M5, so this machine was conceptualized and created from 2 donor cars. He even drove the donor wagon until the miles matched the miles on the S62 from the donor M5. Unfortunately, that car was totaled last year, but Tim quickly recreated the concept, and it is a unique and very cool wagon with M5 power.
I love the paint job on the intake there too. That is very cool.
Yeah.
Little Kandinsky there.
Yeah, so I met Tim recently when I acquired a E39 M5, and this guy has M5 problems for sure. I mean, just the idea that you would drive your donor car, which is a 540 wagon, to get to the same mileage as the engine, that's, you know, that takes some dedication. That means I got to drive. I'm looking at my powerful motor in the garage while I'm driving the grocery getter, just thinking of the day I can finally put it in there. But he's got a custom interior, and he's got all the right flares and 400 plus horsepower. I'm pretty sure part of the rest of it was he tuned it, so it's probably pushing 500 horsepower. But really, really passionate about that platform, and I love that platform. It's one of the like true analog sedans with a ton of power. So cool car, Tim. Come see us sometime soon.
All right, and then our winner for best photo was Pat Roussey with his 1986 Ayres Blue 911 Carrera. Pat owns a couple of Porsches that have done very well at shows due to what he claims is Griot's Garage products. This particular 993 was bought from a friend, and the car makes Pat think of them every time he drives it. He states that he loves the air-cooled engine and classic 911 styling. His next detailing projects are deep dives into the engine bay and interior, where he will be using engine bay dressing to touch up all of the plastic bits under the deck lid, and then leather 3-in-1 as he works on the original leather in the interior. Pat submitted some of the coolest photos we've seen, and this one is one of our collective favorite. Great work, Pat.
And just a quick editorial note, that is not a 993, that is a classic G-Series 911. Absolutely gorgeous paint on there. I love the coupes, and there's a reason that 911 styling has not changed very much in almost 60 years. That's because they got it right the first time. Beautiful 911.
Yeah, they're wonderful cars to drive. I mean, you know, they're easy to get in and out of, especially when you're old like me. And, you know, I mean, you got a wide body.
Yeah, Pat Pat was the winner by bludgeoning, I would say, because he sent us probably 30 photos of both that Porsche and his 993, which are similarly colored. And he literally wrote this enormous diatribe about it. But really, it was 20, 30. I mean, he must be a photographer, because there was light painting, all these cityscapes, industrial. I mean, they were all great photos. But that one in particular, just the light, you know, you had some light painted versions of that, and the light was just really nice on that blue. So,
well, the concrete didn't look blue, or the asphalt looked blue, too.
So Pat, you are a winner of the best photo contest. And again, if you all want to get the best photo, it doesn't have to be one awesome photo. It can be an assemblage of photos, and it
could be like 500, like Pat submitted.
Yeah.
And there must be just one in there. That's awesome.
No, yeah, exactly. All it's got to be is one that speaks to the collective room. And
anyway, congratulations, Pat. That's awesome.
So, Pat, be sure to contact us, social@griotsgarage.com, and we'll get you your Concours Lawn Kit so you can keep those Porsches clean and keep them winning awards.
Okay.
All right, we do. So we're going to go through another couple honorable mentions, and then we got a couple announcements after that. So, again, we thank you guys all for your submissions. Sent us so many cool cars.
Trans Am. I'm in love with Trans Ams. Anybody that has a Trans Am, throw it over the fence here.
Yeah, if it's black with a gold emblem and T-tops, my wife will want it. So that's her favorite
Screaming
muscle car.
chicken.
Yeah, but it's got to have the gold dash. It's got to have the SE 1977 Bandit.
Yeah, the disco ball dash.
Look at that paint job. That must be Viper green or what? What's that green?
So we met this guy in Raleigh, North Carolina a few years ago. And yeah, it's a pretty loud, I'm pretty sure it is off of Dodge Viper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, another photo in front of that same sign. That's great.
We're going to have to go to Pontiac, Illinois.
That sounds like it.
Right.
And get a picture.
Huh.
Is that a Tempest? Or, yeah. Okay, so I'm really loving these new copper colors for some reason. I love this Mustang color. I don't know what.
Looks great with that tan interior. It's an Alpha.
GTV.
You know, whenever I see that car, I think of the James Bond film, Octopussy, when he's running away from the knife-throwing twins, and he's just sliding one of these all over the place.
That's why my sister had to get one.
Huh.
Nothing wrong with
Beautiful.
Yes.
Perfect 993.
Two-wheel drive, too. Rear.
It's your 392 Challenger.
Wide body. I want one of those. Want one of these.
This guy, we were asking him what his favorite feature of the car was, and he said the LS3, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, because the legend. Nice. 68.
Lean.
Very nice. Ooh, slam down. B-dub.
This guy had a few other photos of him and his buddies, and they all had just bagged, slammed to the ground.
That's actually a
V-dubs.
great photo right there.
Oh, he had some great photos as well.
Yeah.
So this guy, the younger guy has the 96 Impala, and his dad has the older Impala, so they've got Impala problems.
Chevy to Chevy. Ooh, beauty. Good cruiser.
What is that? 63?
66.
66?
Yeah, that's what I want. I want it in white with red interior.
You know what the problem with this show is? Is that like after, we hang up from this thing, we're on eBay and bring a trailer and, trying to buy the next 25 cars before everyone else nabs them.
I mean, but it's got to have long horns on the front, and I got to wear a cowboy hat, and then it's perfect. I'm happy.
Boss Hog.
Yeah.
Boss Hog style.
Look at that.
This guy
Hey.
came to the store.
Oh, yeah.
That's like right outside right now.
Very nice. I say this whenever I see a fastback. I don't know why Ford ever made a notchback Mustang. The fastback is so cool.
It's one of the first cars you got upside down in was an old fastback.
Yeah, I sold it for $500.
I remember that as a teenager sitting in the back of the Griot's garage warehouse like, when are we going to start working on that? Nah, don't talk about it.
Yeah, that had a little bit of rust. I mean, I thought I was going to lock you in the trunk for a week.
That was
because-
before you could go to Dynacraft and get the entire
Oh, I
body,
know. Gosh.
reshammed, just take the VIN out of it.
Still have that car.
There's another 68 right there with the lift-off fiberglass hood. It's a
Yep.
good look.
I always think it's ridiculous when you've got a car that's this powerful and it's convertible. Like that was what was the craziest part of that era. Like you need the structural rigidity of a roof in that car.
Black.
Ooh, wow, look at that launch. That is nice.
Lifting that front end up, taking it to that Mustang in the far lane.
That is a lot of grip right there.
Nice little
Ooh, there's
engine
a
swap
sleeper.
on that. Little V8 in there.
Yeah.
Stuff a little V8 in the MG. That's a spirited driver. Anytime you turn around.
Dude, that thing squeals. All righty.
All right. So naturally, we had to do something special when we had Chris joining us, and we gave Chris a few cars to pick through, and he picked a winner. But we're going to show you some of those right now, and Stevie will give a little bit of the backstory on them.
Yes, so for Chris's pick, our first runner-up is Al Young with his 1977 Barracuda. He said, "This is my very first car purchased in 1977 when I was 17. Originally Pum Crazy, white top, white interior, Shaker 340, bench bucket seat, column shifted automatic, early build, so it has the 70s style going spoiler. Fast forward and I still have it. It's painted black cherry, manual reverse automatic, 486s in the rear, old school roll and pleated interior, and 80s Krager Protec mags. All chromed out suspension. Drive shaft was chromed too, but was very violent past 10 miles per hour. Chrome shop grinded the weights. So what to do with a car that's all done with car shows? You put it out there for other things. Movies?
Yeah, very cool. I love the shaker hood on this one. I love that black cherry paint job. I'm a little bit confused about the year. I don't know if that's a typo or not. It looks a lot like a 71 to me. But Al's claiming it's a 77. Maybe he bought the 71 in 77, so he just dubbed it a 77. Regardless, it's a great looking build, and Al, very nice job. I love the license plates too there.
Chris, what is a manual reverse automatic? I don't think I've ever
You know,
seen one.
you got me there on that one. I don't I don't know what that one is.
I don't know either.
Manual, reverse, automatic.
Yeah.
You know what? I think when we get some of these submissions, some of these guys are just so excited to talk about their car, given the current situation, that they're just typing as fast as they can.
Right.
And all of it comes out at once. So you got a little bit bungled in some of this, but hey, you know what? At the end of the day, it's a pretty bitchin' Barracuda.
Yeah.
It's very cool. And again, I love that black cherry color. Very nice.
Our next runner-up is Chris Blasius with his 2013 Dodge Viper GTS. It says this was a bucket list car for Chris, and his plan is to track the car.
I got to give a shout out to Chris. He follows me on Instagram, always leaves very positive messages for me and comments. So Chris, thank you for all of that. And my favorite thing about this picture is that your Viper has like a 4 car length lead on a Ford GT. I mean, the Dodges are always out in front. I love that.
Oh man, I love these Vipers, and because I actually got to drive them at the Bondurant school in Anger, and man, those cars with tires are just so capable and can be thrashed. And luckily, I wasn't thrashing my own. But Chris, if you're going to track that car, you're going to have an awesome time.
And just, I mean, you can thrash that car lap after lap after lap after lap.
Gets pretty hot.
Yeah, you can just beat on it. It's great. And, you know, Barrett Jackson, when I host Barrett Jackson, Dodge is always very good to me, and they give me a car to drive for the week. And when I was doing the Barrett Jackson down in Florida in West Palm, they gave me a Viper to drive for the week. And I'll tell you what, I don't think I ever got it out of third gear. There's so much torque and so much power in that car. I was doing 80 in third gear. It's crazy.
Is that exceeding the speed limit? 80?
Well, I don't know. I will admit to it now, because I think the statute of limitations have run on whether or not they can still give me a speeding ticket.
We can all sandbag. You've never done anything. Obey all speed limits.
80 kilometers an
Right.
hour. That's what I meant to say.
That's right, 80 km.
Our next submission and runner-up is Jim Ayres with his 1964 Lincoln Continental convertible. His favorite feature is the fact that it has 4 doors and is a convertible. Also, this car has the rear bucket seat option. It's special to him because he's owned it since 1996 and has restored it over a period of many years. His next detailing project is to clean up the engine bay on his 1988 Lincoln Mark VII. Looking forward to using Griot's metal detailer and engine bay dressing. Don't have one favorite Griot's product, but I love the variety of microwave towels, and I'm a big fan of your spray-on car wash.
I'm a fan of all Continentals. The reason I picked this car as my runner-up is, in particular, the monochrome interior-exterior combination. I just love that look, and it's such a beautiful, I mean, I don't know what you would call that, maybe ice blue, but just a gorgeous, gorgeous build. And James, kudos on the restoration. So nice. I mean, it looks like there was not an expense or a detail overlooked, so very well done, James.
These are beautiful cars. My son has one in black. Everybody knows that. But you would think these cars are just super huge, but that chrome spear that goes along the top, then dives down, that is the end of the car. So you can, I mean, I thought it was a compact car when I was driving it.
Oh, it's
Because you can
hardly
see out of it.
compact, but my question for James as a Continental owner is, does the convertible top work? And if it does, keep it that way. And man, I mean, you can't disagree with a 4-door drop-top Conti, and that thing's riding low, just not too low, just low enough. So yeah, you got a place in my heart, Jim.
Our next runner-up is Steve Moriarty with his 1973 Pontiac Trans Am. He said to say hey to Chris Jacobs for me. I did Helter Skelter with him in 2004. I played a LAPD detective in it. He said his favorite thing about his car is the color. Brewster Green is 1973 color only for that year. They only built 187 Trans Ams in this color. This is one of the 187. He's been told that there were only between 122 and 146 built with AC and automatic transmission. Understand that there are a maximum of 43 or even less on the road today. This car is 100% original. It has a 455 CID V8, factory air, AM/FM radio, and THM 400 automatic transmission. He said what makes it special is he is an actor. On October 20th of 1972, his agent called him to go to Bat Jack Productions just off of Sunset in Hollywood. He was there to see, he was to see John Duke Wayne and Michael Wayne to sign a contract to play the role of Officer Pete in Duke's upcoming movie called McHugh. I had already acted in 2 movies with Wayne, Chisholm in 1970 and The Train Robbers in 1973. I arrived on set in Seattle, Washington on June 2nd, 1973 to begin shooting on June 4th. I happened to arrive as Duke was walking across the parking lot on Denny Street. We met and talked for about 15 to 20 minutes. While talking, a car carrier arrived from Pontiac in Portland, Oregon that had 2 1973 Pontiac Trans Ams in Brewster Green on board. Duke and I watched as the cars were unloaded. I fell in love with these Trans Ams immediately. No, there isn't a chance that this Trans Am I bought was one of the ones from McHugh, since we totaled one for the movie, and the second one was purchased by a crew member who totaled it out drunk driving.
Oh, no. Well, first of all, Steve, thanks for that memory. Helter Skelter was a long, long time ago, back in my acting days, pre-overhauling. And I actually played Dennis Wilson, the drummer from the Beach Boys. Helter Skelter was the story of the Manson murders. So I think it's very cool that we were both on that production. And what a gorgeous screaming chicken you got there, man. Brewster Green, you know, those pictures really don't do it justice. When you see a Brewster Green in person, it really catches the eye. It's such a beautiful color combo with the gold Phoenix on the front hood there. And nice picture with Dennis Gage. It's nice to see the mustache down there.
I think I might have gone to school with his sister in high school. I mean, it's a very unusual last name. And I just wonder if he had a sister.
And also, you know, did you go to high school in the Seattle area? Because it sounds like he may be local for you guys.
No, I went in the LA area.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. But I just thought, heck, he's in Hollywood. He stayed there all his life.
I don't know. Hey,
Anyway,
I feel like you're sandbagging.
I just feel like I'm sandbagging.
No, it was a cool car, and again, he was very excited to share that story. But I just thought it was cool. He was acting with John Wayne back in the day.
Yeah, three movies, it sounds like. And
Duke.
What a cool touch to that story that he's sitting there talking to John Wayne when these 2 Brewster Green 73 Trans Ams roll off the transport. And then now he owns one. That's fantastic.
Yeah. I like the struck by the drug moment, right? You see the car, oh my gosh, I'm with John Wayne, but do you see that car?
Yeah, great story.
And then we've got the winner, which we don't have any information on, but it was submitted by Jonathan Paglialunga. It's a 1971 Roadrunner.
It looks like he's got a pretty hefty setup there, twin turbo maybe. And let me tell you, I have been so obsessed with 71 Roadrunners and GTXs lately. This is my bucket list car. I've seen this particular car on social media quite a bit. But I absolutely love the 71, and I will have one of these in my garage one day.
All right, you heard it here. You better make contact with Chris for your Instagram.
Yeah. There's another guy on Instagram. I believe his handle is AirGrabber71. It's a black 71 Roadrunner. It's just awesome vehicle. If you're into 71 Roadrunners like I am, check out at AirGrabber71. It's beautiful car. He lives in Sweden, and I just absolutely drool over all of his posts.
Oh, man. Got the muscle car bug in Sweden. That's a long way to travel for that. That's awesome.
There's car nuts everywhere.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jonathan, you won the Chris's Pick Award, and we're going to go to honorable mentions for the 4th category, and then we'll get back to some announcements after that. So again, thank you guys all for submitting so many photos. We had way too much to choose from, but we're hoping we can give you a little bit of tribute with some of these images.
Look at that.
You guys are trying to set up some home visits. We did get an offer from Mike Friend, which had the airplane that we looked at earlier. He said, come over to Tacoma Narrows or Bremerton Airport and get a flight in the Aeronca L16A. Don't worry, newly reconditioned engine, so reasonably low chance of death.
You know what? Even if the engine stopped, that's like the biggest misnomer. Like, just because the engine stops, not like the plane just drops out of the sky.
That thing's pretty lightweight.
No,
as he told us.
Yeah, I don't think he wants me in the back, though. It would just totally put the center of gravity completely cattywampus. But I will take you up on that. I would love to fly.
This guy had a pretty unique, they made so few that weren't red.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we really, I mean, this has been such an awesome way to connect with our customers during this time. Just so many people.
Yeah, I want to
sending
say
us
thank you
photos.
because, you know, we only get 250 cars here and we got 500 submissions and just every single one of them is just shot well and everybody's having a fun time. Look at that. Little Super 7.
This is our crazy car with a sliding roof.
Oh, really? Oh, that's so you can put like a 2x4
Oh,
out
check
there.
this out, Dad.
Yeah. Love the American flag and
Quite
stuff. up front.
patriotic.
Yep.
This guy was with some veteran services, so we wanted to give him a shot here.
So
Beautiful 68, 69.
69, I think.
With
What
those
is that?
fender louvers in rear.
Ooh,
Oh, wow. That's a cool pick.
Love that color, CLK.
you think that's a standard color?
I think so. If so, they probably didn't sell too many of them. That's another one of my favorite photos.
I love dogs that wash cars, you know?
I was telling Chris yesterday, I can't wash my car with my dog because he just wants to get sprayed with the hose. Like, he loves it. It's his favorite thing. So I'm trying to rinse my wheel off, and he gets in between me and the wheel and just starts eating the water until he coughs it up. But
Yeah.
this looks like a good boy.
I love seeing cars like that all opened up. What a cool effect.
That's pretty cool.
Another beautiful pick.
Blue sky in the background.
356. Wonderful.
I think that's Heron Gray.
It's the 02 NSX.
The original NSX body style. So cool. I was really happy when they brought the NSX back, and what a splash it made in the car world. Such a cool car.
Yeah, I still have a thing for those first gens, though, man. I can't get over them.
They drive unbelievable. A friend flipped me the keys. I didn't know I was going 110 miles an hour on the freeway.
Oh, sounds like
Oh,
you're
wait a
going
minute. Did I
faster
say
than
that?
Chris.
No, 110 kilometers an hour.
Kilometers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kilometers an hour.
Somewhere in Mexico.
On the Autobahn.
Look at that. Is
Great,
that
great
is that
wood.
original wood or not wood? But I mean, is that the original woody
Looks
stuff
like
on the
it.
side?
Looks pretty
I
correct.
think it is, yeah. I love the exposed bolt look, too. It just gives it a very industrial kind of flavor.
Yeah, I think wagons are like the perfect car, you know, because they just kind of embody, well, not only family, but I just love the design, how they just, you know, go all the way to the back.
All right, so we're going to jump to the next category, which is, this is always a fun one, but we found this one to be the most fun, which is best story or history behind the car. So we had some great submissions here. I mean, way too many to get through. And you guys wrote some novels to us, so we'll try and distill them down and get to the whole point.
Yeah, so our first runner-up was Blake Patchins with his 1964 and a half Ford Mustang Survivor. What makes this Mustang special to me is simply the fact that my grandfather owned and collected it. As the second owner of the Mustang, I remember Grandpa telling me, I rescued it from its owner. That was typically his answer to the other 50-plus cars he bought, too. Blake's favorite feature is rolling down all four windows for a full no-post feel like the 50s cars, and claims that this is the next best thing to owning a convertible. Blake has kept the car looking new with Griot's products and intends to move on to a 1963 Ford Thunderbird convertible for his next project. His favorite product is the new ceramic, and he has already consumed 3 bottles of it.
Yeah, he's a Ford guy, and the 63.
very first, I'm sorry, Richard, go ahead.
No, that's all right, Chris.
I was saying that the very first cool car I ever owned was a 64 and a half Mustang convertible with a little 260 in it. So it didn't have a lot of guts, but always turned heads. It was a sunlight yellow exterior with a tan interior. And man, you know, if you could go back in time and reclaim certain cars, that would be one of them for me.
Well, that's the most incredible thing about, you know, the first gen Mustang is that, I mean, they made 1 million of them. I mean, literally a million of them.
Like per year, pretty much.
Well, no, I think like between 64 and a half to 66, they made like 1.2 million. I mean, or maybe it was more than that. Anyway, but I mean, they were cheap when I was growing up, and I think they're still pretty affordable. I mean, just for a great, easy maintenance car, you know, as long as it's not rusty, it's a, you know, a great car to own.
I like his grandpa's excuse, right? I rescued the car from its owner.
That's, you know, I've always said cars find me.
Yeah. You and his grandpa would probably get along pretty well.
Sure we would. I'd get along great with Blake, too.
Our next runner-up is Ken Crawford with his 1933 Ford three-window coupe. Ken and his wife are a team, and Ken's wife sent in the email and photos of their bitchin' 33 Ford. The car is a Factory 5 racing kit that Ken and his wife built together in their garage. Ken actually painted that awesome tangerine pearl paint himself in the garage. They plan to drive it and show it, which sounds like the right way to enjoy this awesome build. Their favorite Griot's product is rinseless wash and wax.
Yeah, that's a beautiful color right there, and an awesome setup with those wheels too. Really nice color combination between that tangerine and that brassy wheel.
I just like that they built it together. All right? I mean, you buy a kit, you assemble it, you just do it, right? And then, of course, setting up your paint booth in your own house, and then a pearl on top of that, you gotta have some courage to do that.
Yeah, that's probably one of the, you know, best things about having a garage is being able to do all this stuff.
Doing whatever the heck you want in it.
Doing whatever the heck you want with it and building your own car. I mean, there's no greater, you know, satisfaction, I think. I mean, gosh, now you're mobile, right? You started with something that wasn't mobile, and you come out of the garage and you're mobile.
Yeah, I just love the husband and wife teaming up, building the car, and then enjoying it together. I don't know if there's a better story about that, but then the pride of doing it yourself, right? Getting your hands doing it. And we've got a lot of these stories, and some of them kind of fall apart under scrutiny when it says, yeah, I did all the work myself except for this. To do it all yourself, really, you should be proud of that.
I don't know. I think if you pay the bill, that's called, yeah, I did it myself. Because I did work to raise the money to pay the bill.
To each their own.
Okay, what else we got?
Our next runner-up was submitted by Kim Crum. It's a Cadillac CTS-V. Kim sent us an amazing story about an email exchange between he and a young Army serviceman named Troy Poston, who was stationed in Iraq and was desperate to get into some fast cars when he got back stateside. What followed was an incredible series of charitable events. He said, the story starts with an email which I put directly below, in this case from an Army serviceman in Iraq. Troy Poston was stationed at a huge airbase north of Baghdad. He had been trading emails for over a year. This one was different. His request is clear, and his wanting a little car fun respite is obvious, isn't it? The email is, you are the man. Any chance you could bring the 928 on tour and do some speed runs on the runway here at Anaconda? I could work out a race between you and an F-16. Then you can sign autographs. I wasn't willing to say no to Captain Poston. He was somebody I met some years earlier at a Porsche Club event. We all owe these people, don't we? Discussions with Pentagon Public Affairs about making this happen revealed the tragic rate of driving accidents and death when our heroes return home, more than in combat. After hearing that, one entertainment event just wasn't going to be enough. Something much bigger, both in size and scope, had to be done. In calling Car Guy friends, our community did come together. We started a 501c3 nonprofit foundation with a sole mission to honor, educate, and entertain our returning troops, called the Operation Wheels of Freedom Foundation. With the support of Ford, GM, and Chrysler, plus many other companies, we went on an amazing multi-base tour. Later in 2005, the tour is wrapped up, and our foundation would have to sell off the 9 cars to finish paying the costs. Those famous words, you only get one chance at saving history, are on my mind. The cars were the sole physical symbols of all the miracles of this unique tour, a symbol of what's possible, of American can-do, even when the task looks daunting. I opted to save one of the 9 cars to thus save history. I bought the 2005 CTS-V, and it's now the only car left from the original OWOFF tour. It's a powerful symbol of when the car guys come together and made a difference for our returning heroes. I've kept it in concours condition, looking just as it did during the 2005 tour.
Yeah, this story was just insane. You know, we're talking to, they're trading emails, they're pen pals with some servicemen in Iraq, and I just love we're gonna do a drag race with an F-16 leads to, we're gonna assemble a ton of cars, and these guys come home, and we're gonna drive the wheels off these things together. Just a great, you know, rousing the car community to get this going, and then the contributions from some major companies to make it happen. So just a great story.
Yeah, I would like to point out also, in addition to it being a fantastic story, that Dodge is parked out in front of both the Fords and the GM products. I just want to make note of that as a Mopar guy.
Yeah, that's a great photo. I mean, just like, I don't know. I just thought, gosh, what a over-the-top way. And then, of course, the outcome of this charity is that you must purchase the car, right? I mean, you've got to purchase it. You have no choice at this point. But awesome that he still maintains the car, and that you were able to accomplish that to help our men and women in the military and come home to a warm welcome with some American muscle. And yes, maybe the Dodge was in front.
I just love the line, a symbol of what's possible of America can-do spirit. I mean, that is our country right there in a nutshell.
So our next runner-up is Kim Miller with a 1937 Chevy half pickup. This is our 1937 Chevy half-ton pickup that was my dad's daily driver since 1967. He was a true car guy. He found this thing in Arizona on blocks and bought it from the two old sheep herders. He dearly loved this truck. After 30-plus years in SoCal, my folks retired back on the farm in Kansas. In their move, he actually drove the 37 all the way to Kansas from SoCal, loaded up like the Beverly Hillbillies. It made it without any issue. In the late 1990s, he began a restoration on his beloved truck. Unfortunately, medical issues got in the way of finishing the project. I went back to Kansas in the early 2000s and trailered the parts out to my place in southern Washington. I got his car guy skills and began business of getting the truck back together. After 15 years, it is almost done. The paper headliner is a pain to get in, thus the almost done. The paint job isn't the best, but with the help of Griot's products, I've been able to keep it presentable. I wasn't able to give my father a ride in it, but my 94-year-old mom still loves to. Having the stock 37 that meant so much to him is an honor. My son and grandson have caught the car guy bug and enjoy tinkering with it as well as their own projects.
I love this story.
Cool. I love the before and after pics there, seeing it in the condition that he bought it in, and now what it looks like today. What a great before and after.
And who would have thought you'd buy a truck from a bunch of sheep herders?
That's what I love. Where's this truck been? We're gonna go find it with some sheep herders, huh? We're gonna load it up and we're gonna go strike gold as the Beverly Hillbillies. This is just a great story, and they still have his truck. I mean, How long has he had it? Again, just from the 60s. The truck is nearly 80 years old, and that's 4 generations, right? All the way down to his what would be her dad's great grandson. So awesome story, Kim. Thank you for providing that to us.
Our next runner-up is Les Nunez with a 1970 Chevy Camaro Z28. Les has owned the car since new, and he continues to use and race it. As he states, the car is really special to me because I bought it new, and it's been my sidekick ever since. It went through high school and college with me, hung out with my brother and his 1969 Nova SS, ran the quarter mile at the old Fremont drag strip, took my wife and I out on our first date, took our 2 kids out for many pleasure drives as they grew up, became friends with my friends over the decades, and is well known in our community. It gets driven on a regular basis. I also get to drag race it at a local event every year. It gets a regular dose of his 2 favorite Griot's products, Best of Show Detailer and Spray On Car Wash, to keep the Hugger orange and white stripe combo shining. This summer, we'll celebrate the car's 50th birthday. It has been and continues to be an amazing journey. You couldn't count the number of smiles the car has given me. I know that I am a very lucky man.
So you're the
I
Camaro
gotta tell
guy.
you, I love the second generation Camaro. What a radical style change from the first gen Camaro to this kind of beefier, more rounded second generation Camaro. 70 was just such a great year for cars, wasn't it, guys? So many amazing designs came out.
I mean, it was the high water mark for, horsepower, and being a Z28 with the
High revving 302 in it.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Perfect.
at some point they actually went to 350 in the second gens. But yeah, I mean, I love second gen Camaros. That was the first car that I ever got to really work on with my dad. I still have that car. It's a 71 RSSS.
15 years old, right?
15, yeah,
it was
I
under
was
the
15,
Christmas
but,
tree.
I mean, again, just I can't understand 50 years. I mean, I think I have your genes where I'm way too fickle. 50 years is too long for me to even comprehend with a single car. So for you all that love your car so dearly, and I mean, that thing's in great shape. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
He said he rebuilt it's got a stroker in it, but it's like 525 horsepower, and he consistently takes it to drag strips. So, I mean, he's working that car. So I really like that story as well.
I do too.
Love the Hugger Orange and white stripe combo. That is just so classic muscle car. Just beautiful. Looks good on any car, really.
Our next runner-up was submitted by Lois. It is a 1963 Jaguar E-Type. Lois had an awesome story about dreaming of owning an E-Type and claims that this car saved her. After her dream in 1983, she followed a tip to find a dilapidated old E-Type in a storage yard and made payments on the car over time because she simply needed to have the car. We found her description of the car to be perfect, as she described her favorite feature as the flowing, archingly beautiful aerodynamic shape. She spent years learning how to wrench on this car and claims it helped keep her centered and focused. This culminated in 2014 when, out of over hundreds and hundreds of cars, she was selected to be in the top 25 of the Barrett-Jackson Cup at the Hot August Nights event in Reno, Nevada. Go figure, a little foreign car in an ocean of American steel.
And this is another car that I think the coupe actually looks better style-wise than the convertible does. The swoopy back end and the enormously long front end of these E-Types, instantly eye-catching. What a gorgeous, gorgeous car. And I love the fact that she kept the wire wheels on there, too. It's such a signature of this car.
It looks like it's dark blue too, with that Connolly hide. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and I just found her story to be awesome. She was definitely saying that, when she was having some challenges in her life, she went back and worked on the car over, a series of years. And yeah, I would say an E-Type is going to stick out like a sore thumb at Hot August Nights, but it's pretty cool. And I just like, all of these stories of people hanging on, putting these cars together, finding their kind of therapy and solace and taking a breath to go work on their cars. That's what we're all about. So her story really resonated for sure.
Yeah.
It looks like, too, that she worked on every single aspect of the car. Can we go back to the pictures there for a second? Is she actually cutting material for the interior there in that lower left picture?
I think,
She working on the panels?
I think so.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, there must be every guy chasing her in town. That's all I can say.
Our next runner-up is Roger Lawton with his 1979 X19 K20 swap. Roger has a unique car here. His just completed 1981 Fiat Resto Mod with a K20 A2 engine swap. The project took 5.5 years to complete. The car underwent a rotisserie restoration with some mods to the engine bay to accommodate the K20 out of a 2002 Acura RSXS. The project utilized a swap kit designed by Matt Brannon from Midwest Bayless Italian Auto in Columbus, Ohio. That kit is quite complete, but there are still a lot of mods needed to make it all work and retain a stock look. The finished painted shell was returned to me on the rotisserie, and all further work was completed by me, other than the custom seat covers, door cards, and steering wheel wrap. Resurrection did some cutting and buffing of the paint, but I did more utilizing the Griot's Boss system of polishes. The color and interior theme was inspired by the early Audi S4 in Nogaro Blue Pearl. Roger taught himself how to weld by watching YouTube, which helped him create the custom stainless steel exhaust on the car. He hopes to bring it to a future live CNG at Griot's, like an actual physical event, as that is where he first got the inspiration for his swap. That owner and I have since become friends. In fact, he helped when it was time to install the K20 drivetrain in my car. His next project is to restore a 1979 to stock form. He has owned that car since new. This project has consumed more hours than he can possibly count, but doing most of those hours in the garage, I had the Velocity channel, now Motor Trend, on in the background. I got a lot of inspiration from Chris Jacobs and Chip Foose on Overhaulin', as well as many of the other shows on that channel. I'm just glad I did not need to call the Garage Squad to finish this project. Anyway, it was a lot of work, but I learned a ton and had fun doing it. Hope you like it. It's a blast to drive.
And what a beautiful restoration there. I mean, talk about efficiency and economy of space. That engine compartment, he's using 100% of that. That's very well done, Roger. And thank you for the compliments. And I'm glad you're an Overhauling fan that gave you some inspiration.
Yeah, I liked, he's clearly taken a lot of inspiration from what he's watching. One of the details of that story was, he bought this kit, he's got to make all these modifications and he's doing it, but then they don't provide you any insight into an exhaust. So he'd never welded before. He goes onto YouTube, he teaches himself how to weld, and he builds his exhaust. So
I think that's the most impressive thing.
yeah, I mean, YouTube you can learn a lot from these days for sure. Gosh, yeah, and he met the guy who inspired that swap here at a Tacoma show. So hopefully get back to normal sometime soon and create more of these inspirations and or money pits, whatever you want to call them.
And it's just such a cool late 70s, early 80s, design where, well, not the 72 Corvette, but no, it's.
He owns a couple of them too.
Yeah, all right.
It's funky. They're like almost MR2 style.
All right, we're on to the 72 Corvette, it looks like.
This was submitted by S. Adenasi. It's a 1972 Chevrolet Corvette. He said he ordered it in December of 1971 and picked it up in April of 1972 and has owned it ever since. This has original paint, Steel Cities gray, and original saddle leather interior. The engine and drivetrain have been rebuilt. That's because there are over 250,000 miles on this, all matching numbers Corvette.
Now that's a story of true love right there, 250,000
Nicely
miles.
done, 250,000 miles. You gotta love that.
Yeah, I wonder what his odometer reads. It's a 5-digit odometer. So
I'm
he's
thinking
rolled
he
it
could
over
sell
twice.
that. Yeah, he could sell that car with 50,000 original miles on it.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
And for it being original paint and interior, man, does that car look good? I love that Steel City gray. Is that the name of that color? Beautiful.
And the saddle interior, I mean, it must be stunning in person. And it looks like he has T-tops, which would, Nick would be all over that.
Yeah, I'm in. I don't want a C3 coupe. I gotta have the top off of that thing. Sat in your convertible, and it's a little tight in there for a 6-footer, so you need to have the top off. But 250,000 miles, holy crap, that's insane.
Our next runner-up is Pam Valencia with her 1964 Chevy Chevelle Malibu. Pam claims that cars are in her blood, and it seems quite obvious. This Chevelle was purchased by her family in 1981, and her mom drove it before Pam took over. She took her driver's test in the car and drove it through high school and college. She and her brother did all the work on the car, including repainting it, shaving the door handles to hide the rear doors, and swapping out the straight six for a 327 V8. She claims that while her brother did a lot of the work, she helped whenever she could. She has owned the car for 33 years and continues to drive it and show it with her husband, shining it up with Griot's Garage Best of Show detailer. Most times, my parents' 1955 Chevy or 1959 Corvette is parked on one side of me, and my brother's 1937 GMC or 1957 Chevy pickup on the other side. Like she said, cars are just in her blood.
Pam, is that you coming out of the engine bay?
It looks like it is, yeah.
And I love the picture of her and her brother by the car, too. That's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just love the whole family connection. And,
Four-door Chevelle. She shaved the door handles off to make it look like a two-door, and she said people give her grief for putting money into a four-door, and she's like, you don't know anything. Like, this car's been around forever. And she told a story about having to go to the hardware store. Her dad was at work and had the truck, so her mom had to buy these 8-foot-long pieces of molding, and she stretched it across the interior of the car, so her brother was holding it up front and she was holding it in back, like hanging out the windows across the car while her mom drove home. So
that's awesome.
That is cool. We're getting a lot of these cars today where they've been in the family for generations, and you know, I love that. You know, car love gets passed down, and when the car itself is the through line of the family, it just makes it extra special. And yeah, to each their own. I mean, who doesn't love 4 doors on a cool car? It means everybody can get in very easily. I mean, we've all struggled with getting in the back seat of a late 60s muscle car. Am I right? We've all had that experience. So having the 4-door makes it a lot easier.
yeah.
All right, and now our winner. This was submitted by Stuart, a BMW 2002. Stuart said, I've been a BMW 2002 enthusiast for many years. My first was a Chamonix 76. When my wife and I had children, my car hobby went away for large family-friendly vehicles. A common story for sure. About 6 years ago, I went through cancer. After beating that, it was clear that life was too short to not enjoy. At that point, my reward was a Chamonix 72 2002. I taught all 3 of my boys to drive stick on it, and things took off from there. My middle son found and bought himself a Sahara 74 TII. My youngest found and bought the Agave 73 from its original owner. My youngest then found the Inca 72. We considered the Inca a rescue as its owner wanted to make it a race car. My youngest took on the Inca and my oldest took the Agave. The best part of owning older cars is that my boys all learned how to take care of a car both inside and out, a skill that is fast disappearing with their generation. We take them to local 2002 gatherings and to South Lake Tahoe for family drives around the lake. After spending money with a local detail shop, we decided it was much more rewarding to do it ourselves. Your products and the training videos on the website have made it very easy for us to make 40-plus-year-old paint look pretty good.
Well, I love the 2002s. You know, Nick, you were saying earlier, how about the Porsche 944s are becoming more appreciated recently. Well, about 2 or 3 years ago, the 2002s really exploded in popularity. I usually use the SEMA show as a gauge of what the trends are. And a few years ago at SEMA, probably about 2016 or 17, you saw a slew of restored 2002s and modified 2002s. And that's really an indicator of how popular these cars have become lately.
Well, we had a couple of them in our garage when my son Philip, when he turned 16, one of my friends gave me 2 2002s to make 1 2002 for free, right? Okay, so my advice is never take on a free car because obviously there's a lot of work. And we put in a lot of work into that car, but anyway, we got one good car out of 2.
I think it's crazy that all 4 of them have 2002s. Like, and they're all roundies. They're all the round tail lights. So
but it's almost the perfect car. I mean, it's got a great greenhouse. You can actually see out of it. A lot of cars these days, you can't even see out of the car. So anyway, yes, awesome story. BMW nutcases for sure. And yes, we'll be by your house as well. Looks like.
Yeah.
And Stuart, congratulations on beating cancer, man. Way to be strong and way to reward yourself with a couple 2002s. That's a great beating cancer gift to yourself. So congratulations on that, man.
Yeah, life's too short to.
All right, Stuart, you're our winner. Again, congrats for all the exact same reasons that Chris just echoed, and to have your sons participate in that as well. It's a family affair. So we're going to get on to our last category, Best of Show. But before then, I just want to remind everybody, follow Chris Jacobs at Instagram, ChrisJacobs70. Follow us at Griot's Garage, either on Facebook or Instagram as well. And subscribe to our YouTube channel if you like what we're doing here. We're going to keep doing these until we're allowed to have physical car shows. And if you really like this, we'll continue to do it in perpetuity. But We do have another YouTube Live on Thursday, and that is more detailing focused. If you have product questions or process questions, that's what we focus on those Thursday shows. And then to participate in the next virtual Caffeine and Gasoline, submit your car, your photos, your stories to social@griotsgarage.com or via Instagram or Facebook using the hashtag virtualCNG. So we had over 500 submissions for this show. We had a ton of fun sorting through everything. Make sure to give us great pictures. Tell us your story. We're reading these together, and the ones that pull on the most heartstrings and kind of have the best balance of, I did this myself, I really enjoy this car, you're going to find your way onto this show somehow. But make sure to show us the entire car. That's like one easy way to cross you off the list. But the other thing that is unfortunate to report is that we had our 30th anniversary celebration scheduled for June 20th this year at Pacific Raceways, and unfortunately that has been postponed. We do not know when we are going to be able to host that event, but it's probably, we're going to hope for sometime in fall so that the weather holds up and then we can get back together safely. So unfortunate news there, but obviously we can't really control what's going on outside of following the protocols, and it's not really responsible at this time to think about having a 1,000-car car show. So we're going to do that in the future, we promise, when it is safe to do so. Without further ado, though, we want to get to our Best in Show winners, and I want to take this time, too, to thank you, Chris, for being a participant. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We hope you're all happy, healthy, and staying safe. So we got some more cars to talk about. How about that?
All right, our first runner-up for Best of Show is Bob Williams with his 1973 Porsche 911 RSR. Bob built this car by himself and learned a ton about metalwork, upholstery work, which he claims angers Porsche purists. He did a lot of custom fabrication work to the car to plumb for maximum performance, and he claims that he didn't build the engine or paint the car. He has had a lot of success driving the heck out of the car with 65 first-in-class wins over the years of ownership, and the current engine pumps out 430 horsepower, and the car weighs in at 2,100 pounds. He loves how lightweight and responsive it is, and that he built it himself. There are too many other details to cover, but the car is awesome, and we liked it a lot. Bob says he has too many favorite Griot's products to choose one, but he loves his Griot's buffer and complete polish, which he uses on this 911.
It's wicked.
What a gorgeous car. I'm a huge fan of these 73s. I don't care if it's not an original RSR. It certainly looks like one now. The ducktail, the long hood, the performance, obviously. Oh, man. These pre-73 Porsches, before the impact bumpers came in, are really some of the most beautiful 911s out there. Love it, and I love your being a fan of air-cooled Porsches just like I am.
I think they really got all the proportions just exactly right on this here, and the ducktail was just like sculpted from just ducks, probably.
I think the cool thing about Bob's car is that he acknowledges, like, hey, I did a lot of this work myself. He clearly can drive 65 first place finishes in class. Who gives a crap what the purists think? It's your car. It's definitely bad to the bone. He said he has 315s in the back of that thing. No 73 Porsche ever had 315 rubber on it, so he's got to lay that power down. And 2,100 pounds, 430 horsepower, you're causing some problems, and you're probably just pissing off the purists because you're smoking them.
Yeah, well, I think it had 205s in the
I
rear.
wonder if he had to do any tub work to fit those 315s under there. Do we know from his email?
So Bob also gave us an enormous list. He probably could have written a 4 to 8 page magazine article on all the modifications he did to this Porsche. And again, he did a lot of this work himself outside of paint and then the engine build. He did his own interior, which he kind of mentioned, but so he was really hands-on in this project. But I am absolutely certain that he had to cut some of that space out to get those
Yeah, he must have, because those fender flares are not enough to house those 315s. What a cool look that is.
Yeah. So Bob, we don't care about the Porsche purists. We like your car, and you're talking to a pretty big Porsche purist over here. So
Yes.
And Chris as well as an air-cooled Porsche owner, if you get past these two guys, you're in good shape.
You're all right with us, Bob.
Our next runner-up is Blaine Ettinger with his 1968 Austin Mini with a Honda K20 swap. He said, here's my 1969, that's a typo. It's either a 68 or a 69, Austin Mini. My favorite feature is that it's Honda VTEC converted. Currently running a B16A, which tripled the horsepower from its stock engine, also makes it a tad more reliable. What makes it special to me is how happy it makes people. At virtually any car show I attend with it, everyone smiles when seeing it. From people of all generations, they just love seeing it. There is no family connection, although I have also wanted a classic Mini. Something about a round-nosed Mini that I just love. As with any classic car, they are never done, and future projects are just tweaking little things to make it better. Griot's Garage always makes the best products and hard to pick a favorite, though Best to Show Detailer is what I applied the most.
So I had one of these with the, it had the same engine in it. And I drove down the street and it just went like it was the biggest badass car. And then I went for the brakes and there was absolutely no brakes. And I think I might have soiled the seat because I thought I was going to take out, a stop sign. But yeah, they are crazy cars. And I noticed his tires are about, twice as wide as what I had on mine. But yeah, these engine swaps are just literally the perfect solution, for old classic cars with modern, driving experiences. And yeah, I'm a big fan
And I
of
think that Honda Inline 6 just fits in there so perfectly too. We were talking about economy of space with the X1 car that we saw earlier. This same way, that engine is absolutely stuffed into that engine compartment, but obviously works. Tripling the horsepower on a Mini. Wow, can you imagine how fun it was taking that thing out for the first time with the new drivetrain in there?
Well, I hope he had
it's a
brakes.
whole new experience with triple the horsepower.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope he had brakes too, because when I drove that Austin, it had the same S2000 engine in it. It was the most violent wheel hop I had ever experienced. So I was trying to hold on to it while getting used to it, and the thing just was a rocket ship. So
Yeah, fun
super
cars.
cool. But yeah, definitely hope you have the capability to stop yourself and put that power down effectively.
Our next runner-up is David D'Annunzio with a 2004 Panos Esperante GTLM. It is one of 26 GTLM convertibles made from 2004 to 2007. This is the first time I've entered it in a car show. My favorite feature is to hear the whine of the supercharger of the hand-built SVT V8. It is special to me because of the Panos story. Like another famous American, Panos set out to battle the Goliaths in the industry at Le Mans, and in 2006, an Esperante GTLM won its class at the 24 Hours. My next project is to use my Griot's buffer and 3-stage boss system to keep it looking better than it did the day it was delivered new. His favorite product is Best to Show Detailer. It keeps the shine between full detailing very vibrant.
So I'm a
Yeah, we all know how hard it is to keep a black car looking good. So the Griot's products are doing a fine job of keeping that Panos nice and shiny. I love the Panos story too. The David versus Goliath is a perfect way to describe that story, and so cool that they were a class winner just a couple years later after that 2004 Panos came out.
In fact, I think that black is pretty rare, and I'm a sucker for black with red stitching for the interior too. It's just like
I like
dripping
the
candy in
Panos
front of it.
because when I was a teenager, Gran Turismo, this was right at the time that Gran Turismo was the best driving simulator before Forza really got in there. And you could drive the LM spec Panos in the game, and they just sounded so nasty, like the modern Corvette race cars do. Just you've got all these whiny Ferraris, and then just this burly American V8 just torching everything.
That would
Not that I have
explain your
anything
math
against
test.
Ferraris, but just really had the sauce, that Panos.
Knowing the sound of that car on Gran Turismo would explain your grades. And
Yeah.
all right, now we all know. Car
It was
guys
cool.
to the
And
very end.
I think it was Gran Turismo 3, and it was a silver spec Panos. So, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it looks great in black. Fantastic.
Sure does. Beautiful car.
I just don't see them.
Yeah.
There are not many of these cars, so they're really, really cool. Nice car, David.
Our next runner-up is Paul with his 1974 De Tomasa Pantera. Paul says that his favorite feature of the Pantera are the mid-mounted 351 Screamer, which provides all the music he needs, and then, of course, the timeless lines. The car is special to him because his dad prevented him from buying the car to keep him safe, which was a good idea. He finally got one in 1981. He's got to replace the headliner in the car, but he's confident he can do that, as it's a pretty simple project. He loves our leather care spray, which he claims is easy to use and provides great results.
Again, we have another typo, the De Tomasa, which is like half of a corn sandwich and a tomahawk. Yeah. So De Tomaso, this is insane. I mean, every Pantera is just completely off the hook in anywhere. And most of the Pantera guys, like, 400 horsepower isn't enough, so let's just put 600 horsepower into it. So my hat's off to the
Well, I love
Pantera.
the De Tomaso story continues too. The company has been revived with the manufacturing of the P72. And I actually had the pleasure and the good fortune of seeing a P72 in person when I traveled over to Saudi Arabia in November. What an absolutely gorgeous car, and I'm so happy that the De Tomaso name and manufacturing is still in the game, but instantly recognizable, and the fact that they would use the American muscle in the Italian design car is really the coming together, the best of both worlds.
It really
American
is. If they could.
reliability with some Italian grace. And I like that this car wasn't all winged out and had a bunch of decals, which I think that a car can pull off, these Panteras can pull off that look if it's complete and done tastefully. But I just like, it's really like a sharp little cheese wedge and really just accentuates how gnarly this car is. Like really, really simple bodywork.
Yeah, well, part of the wings, I mean, they definitely raced Le Mans with a huge wing in the back. So I think, that kind of gave a lot of people the inspiration to, just go over the top with the rear wings on some of these things. Yeah, I just love Pantera guys.
A lot of the masters in the custom car game have undertaken Pantera projects. Of course, Chip Foose built a beautiful Pantera. The Ring brothers built an absolutely spectacular Pantera that debuted at SEMA a few years ago. If you haven't seen that car, Google Ring Brothers Pantera, because that thing is truly magnificent. And I know you guys are planning a Pantera build up there at Griot's, right?
Well, we have a Mangusta, but
it's not a Pantera, right? Okay.
As is true with all Panteras and Mangustas, they're Swiss cheese from the belt line down, and so the Bondo is really holding up the Mangusta right now. But yeah, and it was copper gold, so I can't wait to get into that project. And
I think you're just holding your breath after your last painful Italian project that was disintegrating from the belt line down.
And the prior one to that, the Islero, the ISO Revolta.
Oh,
That's why I
glutton for
say,
punishment.
I mean, I've seen more Dinos and more Ferraris just Swiss cheese from the. I think it was that Czechoslovakian steel that had like half oil in it, half iron.
Yeah,
carbon.
or repurposed German
Whatever.
tank steel that was melted down and
That's
poured
exactly.
into every Fiat.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Anyway.
From the 60s. But yeah, I mean, the Pantera is awesome. Paul, you've got a great car. Thank you for sharing it with us. We've got a couple more.
Yeah.
Yes, our next runner-up is Craig Rosenman with his 1961 Porsche 356 Emery Outlaw. His favorite feature is the smooth front and rear with the bumper removal and rear louvers. It's special to him because he bought it for his wife's 40th birthday. It was a surprise 3 years in the making. His next project or detailing project is a 993 restoration, and his favorite Griot's products are the detailing spray and terry weave drying towel.
Craig, you got a good one there, man. That badge is that's a good one. That 356 Outlaw badge, of course, built by Rod Emery, who is a good buddy of mine, and another beautiful build from his shop. He's in Southern California where I live, so I'm able to go check out Rod's shop a lot, and he's got some amazing 356 projects in there.
Well, not only can Rod build a car, but he's literally like one of the nicest guys on the planet. And he's so humble and so understated. And he builds a wonderful, wonderful car. And that one in particular, gosh, the way it was just smoothed out and just, it's so organic. And sorry, I'm looking over here at my son every time.
I'm smiling ear to ear too because I just love these Outlaws. I mean, again, I have not seen one that hasn't been just different enough. I hate to say this, but now I've kind of seen the Singers, and the Singers, they change the colors and they start to look the same. Still incredible reimaginations, but these Outlaws just have kind of, they're a little grungier in that they've got that perfect little bathtub shape, but it's just the little details that make it aggressive. So I love what Rod does, and this was just a beautiful car to see come across our email inbox. And
Yeah.
it was a tough choice between this and the actual winner of Best of Show, but man, that's such a beautiful car. I really, really like seeing that one.
And I think the excuse for, buying this for his wife's, 40th birthday, when you run out of excuses of buying cars for, you start thinking of, well, sweetheart, it's Groundhog Day, happy, happy Groundhog's Day. Here's your Emery.
Yeah, here's a brand new Porsche.
Rod helped us out on an episode of Overhauling where we overhauled a 356A, and having his expertise, his insight, his knowledge really made that car amazingly special. And one of the touches, we used a 59 Volkswagen rear oval window, and that just made the car stand out. Made a lot of the Porsche 356 purists really angry, but it was a beautiful touch that Chip put on that car. And of course, we couldn't have done that build without the help of Rod Emery.
Yeah, that's cool. Rod, hats off to you, but certainly, Craig, what an awesome car to share with us. Thank you.
And Craig, when you get in touch with us at social at Griot's Garage to claim your T-shirt, be sure to let us know how often your wife gets to drive her birthday present.
All right, and then our winner is Alan Rich with his 1973 BMW 2002, which has an S14 M3 engine swap. He said it's a 5-speed with LSD, coilover suspension, and sway bar. He has loved these iconic BMWs since high school in the 70s and has owned 3. This one was a complete restoration project that he did with his son to try and pass on the love of cars to him. It has won many awards, but it was built to be driven, not trailered, and I drive it a lot. He plans to repolish the M2 with perfecting cream and wax with Poliwax. While his favorite product is heavy-duty wheel cleaner, which takes the work out of cleaning those BBS spoke wheels.
Beautiful.
Another beautiful 2002 there. Great work on the interior, and I love those BBSs, man. Those are such cool wheels.
Yeah, I met Alan quite a ways back, and I think he's from the Portland area. If I saw that picture correctly, it's an Oregon plate, and he drove it all the way up to Tacoma for a BMW show. But these S14 swaps into old 2002s, they actually deem these the M2s. And driving my brother's 2002, it's a TII, which was like the highest output 2002 that wasn't turbocharged, and it's pretty slow. You put a 200 horsepower high revving S14 M3 engine in there and the 5-speed and the LSD, you're essentially driving an E30 M3 with about 600 or 700 pounds cut out of it, no safety BS, so that thing rips, undoubtedly. And of course, what took the edge in Best of Show versus that Outlaw is he did it himself, right? I mean, you gotta appreciate that. As great of a craftsman as Rod is, having the appreciation for you putting your car together yourself with your son, and I remember that distinctly in our earlier conversations. So, great job, Alan. You are our Best of Show winner. So you got to get in contact with us again at social, and we'll be sending you a prize.
And maybe visiting your house.
Yeah, we'd love to come. Yeah. I mean,
Our list is growing.
Right.
That's a short enough flight from Tacoma down to Portland. You can definitely hop in that grasshopper and take that flight.
Chris, we're going to go around in a bus, you and I, and for about 5 months straight, and just go from Griot's customer
I like it.
to Griot's customer.
We'll get that cab over, and then we'll hook up an Airstream behind it, and that'll be our caravan.
That's how we'll keep the talent happy. Separate trailers as you go around the country, go knocking on people's doors, delivering Speed Shine, spread the good word. Well, I'd say we had a great show. Chris, thank you so much for being a part of it today. I'm certain that you made a big impression on everybody that's watching this, and your knowledge and expertise is undoubted, and we're so happy to have you as part of our team.
I appreciate it, guys. This has been such a blast, and cue the leaf blower, so it's a good time we're getting off here. But I do have to say, go to my Instagram, ChrisJacob70, and watch my video of me washing my buddy's car and then drying it with the PFM drying towel, because it blew me away, guys. I don't know how you designed that thing, but it's the most incredible drying towel I have ever used, period.
You know, he's like the best salesman we've ever had.
Well, I was telling him that PFM is pure freaking magic.
It is pure freaking magic.
That is the reaction we want you to get the first time you use it.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you want to participate in our next virtual Caffeine and Gasoline, be sure to submit your car, your story, your photos to virtual CNG. Use that hashtag on either Instagram or Facebook, or email us at social@griotsgarage.com. Be sure to follow Chris on Instagram at ChrisJacob70 and Griot's Garage at Griot's Garage. And subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see more of these upcoming live events until we can have you back in Tacoma at our facility, or see you around the country as our events program begins to normalize again. So without further ado, thank you again so much. Stay happy, stay healthy, and have fun in your garage.